Finn has a hunting band and a warrior band called the Fianna. And they were out hunting as they did whenever there wasn't any war, whenever they didn't need to protect the shores of Erin. And they were high on the hillside, looking down to the sea, and one-eyed Gol MacMorna, whose one eye was better than most men's two, pointed out to sea. And all the Fianna looked, and they saw a splinter with the sunlight shimmering off it. And as they watched, that splinter became a small nut-brown boat. And as it neared the shore, it became a great ship, rowed by many men, with a tall, well-dressed young man standing at the oar at the back, the steering oar. Well, the Fianna, they took to their spears and their swords, and Finn said, no, wait. Not every ship that approaches our shore is an enemy. Let us see what this brings. They watched as the ship ground onto the shingle beach. They saw the young man leap off and begin walking up the hill towards them. And they saw the crew of that boat haul it up a little further onto that shingle beach. And before long, the young man was before them. And he had a keen eye. His hair was hazelnut brown, and he was dressed in fine, fine clothing, dyed blue and yellow slashed. And he walked straight up to Finn, recognizing him, as was not difficult, from his great height and his hair of golden corn. And he said, "You are Finn McCool." "I am," said Finn. "And what brings you here?" "You must come with me. I have something that only you can perform for me. Only you." And Finn said, "Well, what if I do not wish to come with you?" And the man said, "Then I'll lay a case upon you, that you will not drink, you will not eat, and you will not sleep until you follow me." And with that, the young hero, the young warrior, turned on his heel, walked back down the hill. His men pulled that boat back into the sea. The man leapt on, took the steering oar, and they rowed away. And that oar ship became a nut-brown boat. And the splinter and gone. And Finn and the Fianna looked. And Finn turned and said, "Well, as I cannot sleep or eat or drink unless I follow, it's in my mind that I should go." Well, his men gathered up their things and said, "We will come with you." And he said, "No, this is something I must do alone." For Finn was always ready for a challenge. And he walked down to that beach, and he looked out to the sea, and he heard a voice say, "Finn McCool, leader of the Fianna, can we be of service to you?" And he looked, and there were 7 men. And Finn said, "Well, maybe you can, but tell me," pointed to one, "what do you do best in the world?" And the man said, "I'm a shipwright. With 3 blows of my axe, I could cut down that alder that stands there and make a fine ship that you could sail on." "That's a useful skill," said Finn. He turned to another. "And what do you do best in the world?" "I am a tracker. I can track the wild duck for 9 days over the 9 waves." "That too may prove useful," said Finn. "Tell me, what is your skill?" "I am a gripper. Whatever I take and grip in my hands, I do not let go until it comes to me, even though it feels that my shoulders might be ripped, my arms might be ripped out of my shoulders." Finn nodded. "And what do you do best in the world?" "I'm a climber. I can climb a single thread of gossamer that is tied to the 3rd star of Orion's belt." And you? I am a thief. I can steal a heron's eggs from the nest while the heron watches. And what do you do best in the world? I'm a listener. I can hear what is said, what is whispered, lips to ear, from the furthest end of the world. Excuse me. And what is it you do? I said, well, I'm a marksman. I can hit an egg that is thrown up at the furthest distance of the strongest bow. That too may well be useful. So. Sorry. And so the shipwright, he cut down the alder tree, and in 3 blows of his axe he made a boat, and all piled upon it. And Finn took the steering oar as the leader, and they rowed and they sailed faster than the waves and the wind themselves, faster than the breath from the sea god Manannan. And at nightfall they drew up onto a shore, and they saw the young hero's boat alongside. And they walked up a path, and they saw light and the fire, and they walked into a glen of hazel trees, and there was a fine house. And the young hero strode out and said, Finn McCool, you've come. And Finn said, well, I thought there was going to come a time when I would need to eat or drink or sleep, and so it was I came. Now what is it you wanted of me? First, come, feast. Feast with me, said the young hero. And the young hero took them in and brought out great big platters. Platters as broad as a man's shield. Come in. And it was heaped with salmon and meat and fruit and potatoes. And wines were brought, and ale was brought, and they feasted well that night. And when the feasting was done, Finn said to the man, you laid a case upon me to come with you. You said there was a task only I could do. What is it? And the man said, 7 years ago, I married a beautiful woman, the love of my life. And after a year of marriage, she gave birth to a son. But no sooner was that son born than down the chimney hole came a great hand and took that babe away. 3 years passed, and she gave birth to another son. And again, no sooner was the son born than a hand came down and stole the babe away. Tonight, my wife is to give birth again. But only you, Finn, only you can stop the stealing of my 3rd child. So Finn was taken to the women's quarters, where sure enough, his wife, the young hero's wife, was close to her time end. He sat in the corner, and every time he thought he was going to sleep, he'd push his arm against a sharp nail that protruded from the wall, kept himself awake. And just before midnight, the babe was born. And no sooner were the first cries of that babe rent the air than a great hairy hand, gnarled like a tree trunk, came down and grabbed the babe. But Finn called to the gripper, and the gripper came and held onto that hand, and he held, and he pulled, and he pulled, and he held, and in no time at all, the arm with a bloody socket was pulled down through the chimney. But swifter than lightning, swifter than the strike of a snake, another hand came down, grabbed the babe, and it was gone. Finn was both angry and ashamed, and he said to the young hero, I will get your babe back, or I will never return home to Almove the White Walls. And the very next morning, he and his troop of men sailed off. And the tracker knelt in the front of the boat. This way and no other. This way. And they sailed through the day. And as evening was falling, in the last rays of sunlight, they saw something in the distance that was too large for a gull, too small for an island. As they got closer, they saw it was a great tower rising out of the sea, and its roof seemed to gleam silver. Well, they rode to the very walls of that tower, and Finn said to the climber, "Climb, tell us what you see." Up went the climber. "Tell us, what did you see?" And he said, "It's well you had me as your climber, for that roof is made of eel skin and is so slippery, even I had trouble." "But what did you see?" said Finn. "I saw lying on a silk sheet the giant, his right shoulder swathed in bloody bandage, and in the palm of his left hand sleeps a baby. And on the floor of the room there are two young boys playing shinty with golden shinty sticks and a silver ball. And in the hearth lies a great wolfhound and two pups." Finn turned to the thief. "Get on the climber's back, for you will not climb yourself. Bring me the children. Bring me all that's in that room, save the giant and the wolfhound." Well, they made many trips up and many trips down, but finally the babe and the two young boys, the golden shinty sticks, the silver ball, the two wolfhound pups, and even the silk sheet that the giant was lying on were in Finn's boat. He wrapped up the babe, laid him in the bottom of the boat with the pups on either side to keep him warm, and then he turned to his men, "Row, row, row as you have never rowed before." And they sped through the waves. And the listener, he joined Finn at the rear of the boat, and after a while he said, "The giant has woken. The giant has woken and he's angry. He wants the babe. He's looked around. He sees all is gone, but it is the babe that he wants most. And he is sending the wolfhound after us. Row, row quickly." And so they bent their backs and their muscles cracked as they rowed the boats. But it wasn't long before they saw, swimming towards them, the great wolfhound, and sparks were coming from her sides. And Finn called, "Quickly, quickly, we must do something, for should she draw level with our boat, the flames from her hide will burn our boat and all will be lost." And he took hold of the grey pup and threw it into the sea, saying, "Perhaps she will stop to save her pup." And sure enough, that's what she did. She stopped, took the pup in her jaws, and she swam back to the tower. Finn's boat cut its way through the waves, swifter than an arrow. But the listener said again, "The giant is angry now with the wolfhound. He's telling her to come after us, but she will not. She stands. She's snarling. She's baring her teeth. She will not move. She has saved one of her pups, and she will not go after the next. So the giant is coming himself." And sure enough, they saw the giant, huge, striding through the waves, striding through the sea, and it seemed that the sea barely came up to his knees. And they knew, as he towered over them, that if he took one hand on the boat, they were lost. But even Finn didn't know what to do. So he put his thumb in his mouth and he bit his thumb. The thumb that had been burned when he'd cooked Fintan, the salmon of knowledge. For when Finn bit his thumb, all knowledge would come to him. And he knew then that on the giant's left hand, in the palm, there was a mole. And that was the only vulnerable point of his body. So he turned to the marksman and said, "Marksman, when he opens his hand to grasp our ship, shoot at that mole." And the marksman took his bow and said, "It will be a certain shot." And sure enough, as the giant bent to pick up the boat and crush all within it, the arrow was loosed. It hit the mole on the palm of his hand, and the giant fell backwards into the sea. It was as if a mountain had crashed into the sea. The swell that it created almost sank the boat, but the boat survived, and Finn rowed back to the shore and to the glen of the hazel trees. And a strange procession they made, walking up to the young hero's house. It was Finn himself carrying the babe. Oh damn, I've forgotten that bit. Doesn't matter. It was Finn carrying the babe. There were the two boys with the shinty sticks and the silver ball. There was the great wolfhound, which Finn had gone back to get, and the pup, and the other pup, the brindled and the grey, and the men who had helped him. And he presented the babe, still wrapped in the silk sheet that the giant had lain on, to the young hero. And the young hero fell to his knees and said, "Anything I have is yours, Finn McCool. Everything I have is yours. What is it you wish?" And Finn said, "Just give me one of these pups. All I ask is one of these pups, for I'm sure that he will become one of the great hunting dogs." And that was agreed. There was much feasting at the end of that time, and when the feasting was over, Finn and this strange group of men left, and he took with him the brindled pup that he called Bran, and he left behind the grey pup. It's a young hero called Scalorn. And that was how Finn got the first of his hunting dogs. The second story